And the way Fischer Breiholz of Germany leading over to the right-hand side of the picture because he's out in lane 9. But look at that.
Karsten Warholm walked onto the track in Birmingham with one goal: win the European 400-meter hurdles title for the fourth straight time. No European man had ever done that before, not 4 in a row. He was about to change that, and the way he did it left the entire stadium speechless. The final took place at Alexander Stadium on August 14, 2026, under lights in front of a packed crowd. This was the men's 400-meter hurdles, one of the most brutal events in all of track and field. Runners sprint an entire lap around the track while clearing 10 hurdles along the way. And by the final stretch, most athletes are running on empty legs. Warholm was drawn in lane 6, with Germany's Emil Agiekum right beside him in the next lane. Agiekum was the biggest threat in the field, a 27-year-old who had already broken the 48-second barrier 4 times this season. From the gun, Warholm did what he always does. He exploded out of the blocks. That start is the part of his race that separates him from every other hurdler in the world, and it showed immediately. Within the first 100 meters, he had already opened a visible gap on the field. He built a lead in the opening stretch and never let it go. Through the middle of the race, where most runners lose their rhythm counting strides between hurdles, Warholm looked completely smooth. His stride pattern barely changed from hurdle to hurdle, while runners behind him started to tighten up under the pace. Coming off the final bend, he was already clear of the field. By the time he crossed the line, the race for gold had been decided for several seconds, and all that was left to find out was exactly how fast he had run. His time was 46.63 seconds. That number broke his own championship record of 46.98 seconds, which he had set 2 years earlier in Rome. In Birmingham, he ran nearly 0.4 of a second faster than that old mark on the biggest stage of the year for European track and field. It also matched almost exactly the season's best time he had already run in London the previous month, which shows this was not a lucky night. It was Warholm running at his true level, with everything on the line. Behind him, Agiekum crossed the line in 47.87 seconds to take silver, a huge result for a breakout season. Bronze went to Ismail Nazir of Turkey in 48.26 seconds. Both men ran season-best level races. They just happened to be racing against a man in a different class entirely, more than a full second ahead of them by the finish. When Warholm crossed the finish line, he did not need to check the scoreboard to know what he had done. He turned to the crowd and held up 4 fingers. 4 European titles in this event, more than any man in history. Before this win, he was tied with a German legend named Harald Schmid, who had won 3 European titles decades earlier. That record had stood for a long time. Now Warholm stands alone at the top. After the race, Warholm spoke about what still drives him after all these years of winning. He said the reason he competes is to come out in front of people and do it again. Simple words, but they explain everything about how he has stayed on top for almost a decade. He is not chasing one big moment. He is chasing the feeling of proving it over and over every time he steps on the track. Here is what makes this win even bigger. Warholm did not arrive in Birmingham cold. Earlier in the same championships, he was part of the Norwegian team that won gold in the mixed 4x400-meter relay. That means his hurdles title was already his second gold medal of the week, before he even stepped up for his signature event. He had also breezed through the earlier rounds without needing to push. In the semifinal on August 12, he won his heat in 48.01 seconds, a controlled effort that saved his legs for the race that actually mattered. And there is still more ahead. The men's 4x400-meter relay closes out the championships, and if Warholm runs for Norway's team, he could leave Birmingham with a full sweep. 3 golds from 1 championship, a result almost no track athlete matches at a single meet. Now let's talk about how he got here, because this win did not come out of nowhere. Warholm has spent almost a decade making the 400-meter hurdles his own event. He won his first world title back in 2017, when he was just 21 years old and mostly unknown outside of Norway. From there, he kept climbing. In 2021, he ran a stunning 46.70 seconds in Oslo, breaking a world record that had stood since 1992, set by American Kevin Young. That record was one of the oldest in all of track and field. and Warholm tore it down in front of his home fans. Then came Tokyo in 2021, the moment that turned him into a global name. In one of the greatest races in Olympic history, Warholm ran 45.94 seconds to win gold and shatter his own world record by more than 7/10 of a second. Behind him, Rai Benjamin of the United States ran the second fastest time ever run by anyone, and Alison dos Santos of Brazil ran a time that would have been a world record just weeks earlier. 3 men in one race ran times that would have shocked the sport just a year before. That single race is still talked about as one of the best in Olympic track history, and it cemented Warholm's name among the greatest hurdlers to ever live. He followed that with more world titles and more Diamond League wins in the years after, never dropping out of the top spot in the world rankings for long. So when Warholm lines up at a European championship, he is not just facing the field in front of him. He is facing his own history. Since 2016, when he made his first Olympic semifinal as a young athlete, he has faced almost every top European hurdler there is. In that entire stretch, he has lost to a European runner exactly one time, just once, at the 2022 World Championships in Oregon, when he was still fighting his way back from an injury and finished 7th. Outside of that one race, no European has beaten him. Years of racing, dozens of competitors, and only one loss on the continent. With his run in Birmingham, Warholm now holds more than 30 of the fastest times ever recorded in this event by a European athlete. That is not a typo. Over 30 of the top times in history belong to one man. Most elite hurdlers spend an entire career chasing 1 or 2 times that crack the all-time top lists. Warholm has built a personal collection of them. What makes this even more impressive is his age. Warholm is 30 years old. In most sports, 30 is considered a veteran stage, a time when speed and explosiveness start to fade. Hurdling events punish that decline even faster than a flat sprint, because losing half a step of power can throw off an entire rhythm across 10 hurdles. Yet his 2026 season's best time, 46.61 seconds from the London Diamond League, was almost identical to his winning time in Birmingham. His start out of the blocks, the part of the race that depends most on raw explosiveness, looked just as fast as it did when he broke the world record in Tokyo 5 years earlier. Age has not slowed him down. If anything, he is racing as sharp as ever, and every rival now has to plan for a Warholm who still has years left at the top. For his competitors across Europe, the picture is becoming clearer every year. Karsten Warholm did not just win another title in Birmingham. He rewrote what was thought possible in his event on European soil, holding up 4 fingers to a stadium that watched him make history in real time. 9 years after his first world title, he is still the fastest man out of the blocks, still the man everyone else is chasing, and still finding new ways to prove why he is the greatest 400-meter hurdler Europe has ever produced.